All right, everyone, welcome in to the first time that I'm actually doing this live on the Facebook page for Steps to Voiceover Success. I definitely want to welcome everyone in, welcome all the brand new members that are just brand new right now, becoming members of Steps to Voiceover Success. This is really exciting for me. This is a brand new way that I'm going to be doing the live broadcast. It's on Spreaker, using the Spreaker platform to kind of showcase and show people how it is that they can do and develop their own shows, their own podcast, to be able to attract in the audience that they're trying to attract in. This is going to be, or should I say is, a live call-in show. So if you happen to be on Facebook right now, you can actually dial in to speak directly to me. The live call-in number today, as soon as I pull it up, is... where is it? 262-421-5907. The live call-in number today is 262-421-5907. I've got a few things that I do want to cover and a few things that I want to talk about today. For everyone that's wondering, I'm in my home studio today doing the broadcast with my Electro Voice RE320, and I have a alto mixer that I have plugged in as well to help control the sound of the different things that go on with the broadcast. But what I wanted to talk about today on this particular podcast was really starting to think outside of the box. I think so many times we get blinders, or we put blinders on ourselves. And I had this discussion with my private group this morning during a coaching session that I have every Monday with my private coaching clients. And we were talking about today, or I was talking about, rather, I should say, being able to think outside of the box, being able to really move beyond the traditional ways. And it's funny to even use the word traditional voiceover marketing because, just 10 years ago, not many people had home studios. Now, today, we all know that we can have a home studio. We can operate just like I am here. I'm in my home studio. I do have a studio, professional audio production studio downtown Milwaukee as well. But you can do all of this right from the comfort of your home, especially if you have the proper recording environment. We all know this, right? You've got to have the proper recording environment. So when I'm talking about traditional ways of marketing, 10 years ago, we had to go into someone's studio. Now we can have our own studios and operate there. And so the landscape is changing dramatically when it comes down to how you're looking to build your voiceover business. Now, right now, platforms are taking over. Platforms are taking over when it comes to getting work. I'm talking about the platforms like Fiverr. Yep, Fiverr. And for anyone that has anything bad to say about Fiverr, talk to Anthony Pica. He's making a ton load of money. I was getting ready to say the S word, but he's making a ton load of money on Fiverr. We've got the platforms out there like ACX. We've got the platforms out there like Voquent. It's one of the new guys on the block right now. That is on the rise. We have Uplead. We have Freelancer. There's a lot of different ones. And I'm not talking about the pay-to-plays. I'm not talking about your voices.coms or your voice123s.com or any of the pay-to-plays. I'm not talking about those. Some of those are very valid and relevant, but they're being taken over. They're being taken over by places like Fiverr. They're being taken over because of the ease it is for folks like you and I to set up accounts on these platforms, as well as the end user to be able to discover talent and to be able to hire them. Now, you can say what you want about, places like Fiverr, other places that people talk about racing to the bottom. This is a real conversation, though, about the whole racing to the bottom, and I'll probably address that in one of my other episodes that I do. But right now, I really want to talk to you guys about thinking outside of the box. Once again, when I do these live, only when you hear it live, you'll be able to call in and ask me questions. And so you might want to take down the number. It is in my show notes for this podcast, or live broadcast rather, that will become a podcast. But you can also, just take down the number. It's area code 262-421-5907. It's area code 262-421-5907 is the live call-in number, and I'll be able to bring you in and actually put you on air, and you'll be able to speak with me directly, and I can answer your question if you so choose. There's not a particular, there is a chat section that I have available, but you're going to have to be able to use that when you go to the Spreaker platform after clicking on the link, which you probably clicked on Facebook. So you can always chat with me there, and you can leave comments as well. So let's talk about thinking outside the box here. I was talking about all of those platforms that we now have access to be able to use and to be able to acquire and get work if we know how to use those places appropriately. And that's a key word, using them appropriately. All of them have different interfaces. They have different ways of operation, different things that you can do, right, in order to get work. And once again, these places right now are in the mode of taking over. But here's an issue I have, and I said this on my private coaching call this morning. If you think about the head of a needle, right, and you've got that piece of thread through that open little hole that's up there on the needle. This is what I'm seeing is happening right now. A ton of voice actors are trying to get in and get work through these different means, and they're all trying to go through the head of this needle. And even if you happen to get through that head of the needle and onto the other side to the promised land, you may still have a bit of trouble getting traction and getting work. Now, I believe that these platforms are going to make it easier and easier and better, but the easier and easier and the better they make it, the more and more competition that is actually going to arise on these different platforms that I've talked about. Now, I believe they're going to be valid for a very long time. I don't think that there's not, like I'm saying, there's some sort of danger that these platforms aren't going to be doing well, because they are. It is right now the future of voiceover. 4 years ago, I was saying that the home studio was the future of voiceover, and now we're here because everybody and their brother has the ability to have a home studio for not much money, by the way. So how do we start thinking outside of the box? Well, I've worked with a lot of different clients over the past couple of years in the voiceover industry to try and help them build their business. Last year, I really started focusing on, and actually even in through this year and up to now, focusing what I call the micro niche. Focusing in on what is that one thing that you're really passionate about doing, that genre in voiceover that you really love doing. But here's the kicker. It goes above and beyond just putting your demo or your voice on a platform. This comes down to actually building a business around what it is that you do. A business around that genre that you've selected. For instance, I'll give you a couple of examples here. Some of my clients, they really like doing things for the real estate genre. You know, if you've ever bought a home or even now today, you can purchase an apartment through some of these different apps that are out there. Zillow, I think, is one. And you click on like a home you want to look at, and you can look at pictures of the home. Well, there's a market out there for people that can do walkthroughs where you can actually talk and describe. Maybe you can add some nice music, high-end music behind what it is that you're describing. In our upgraded kitchen, now we have an open concept all the way through to the great room. Something like that. I don't know if you think that was a good voiceover or bad voiceover, but anyway, to kind of give you a picture of what it is that I'm talking about. Someone could build a complete business around doing walkthroughs for the real estate agent. One of the things that I do that is outside of the box, obviously I can create commercials, I can create promo spots, I can do certain things like that, but I also have video production skills to go along with my audio production skills. And so one of the things that I've done is I've developed this business around doing book trailers. You might think of a movie trailer, but it's a book trailer for a book that an author has written, and now they want to get traction on promoting the book. So we'll do a 30 or 60 second book trailer that they can put on Facebook, they can put on LinkedIn, they can put on Instagram, they can pretty much put anywhere it is that they want to put these things and be able to promote their book. Not only that, but even have the audio from that to be able to put on a radio station if they want to, or anything in social media. Thinking outside the box with social media has become really a key thing that is helping people acquire more clients, acquire more business, develop a name for themselves. Because let's just be honest, it's kind of hard to develop a name, especially when you're just starting. It's kind of hard to develop a name in a broad genre like voiceover. But what someone can do relatively quickly, if they have the skill set for it, is if they have a micro niche and they're developing a business around this micro niche, this is what your company does. This is what your company is known for, and it does not matter the genre. Now, here's the kicker around this whole thing. Because, for instance, if I am, let's say I'm someone, well, I'll just use my own example of authors and creating book trailers, right? So there's a lot of things that I can do to produce content around what it is that I'm doing. And this is a key factor. In today's world that we live in, producing content is extremely important. Being able to produce content around a subject matter that people are interested in and that is a niche market is the quickest way for you to get noticed. So, in the whole thing with the genre that I have of creating book trailers for authors, one of the things that I do is I can go on and I'll do a live stream, I can do a podcast or whatever, talking about the problems in the arena of being an author. Now, why can I do that? Because I've written 6 books. I can talk about the issues of writer's block. I can talk about the issues of how to get your book published. I can talk about not getting scammed by publishers that are out there, because you can do all of this free on Amazon.com and do your own book. I can talk about marketing and sales of the book and how to use the marketing platform on Amazon to really promote your book, because I've used it and it helped me sell a ton of books. So when you start breaking these things down that you know about the micro niche that you pick to do your voiceover work in, when you start creating content around it that addresses the problem in that specific industry, you can literally blow up relatively quickly. And if you have the patience, when I say relatively quickly, I'm talking about within 3 to 6 months, within 6 months to a year. If you do it on a consistent basis, I'm not talking about doing something here and there. I'm talking about having a formula. I'm talking about having a plan and being consistent about producing the content that you want to produce and figuring out what's the best way for you to do that. Like right now, you see me trying a brand new platform here on Spreaker to try and get more awareness to what it is that I'm doing. So I put this out there. And by the way, for all you folks, once again, if you're listening, because I have no idea who's listening live right now. I don't even know if anyone is listening live, quite frankly. But if you would like to call in live right now while I'm live, you can do that by dialing 262-421-5907. And actually, I would love if someone is listening just to call in, just so I can see that the interface works. And we don't have to talk about anything. Just call me up and say whatever. But I would definitely love to talk and speak to the people that are listening live. So if you would like to call in, ask me a question, make a comment or whatever, you can do that by calling 262-421-5907. Once again, it's 262-421-5907. And if you call me before I go off air, that would be great. If you call me after I'm off air, then you won't get me. So but I'm hoping that this is making sense, because here's the thing. When we start thinking outside of the box and when we start looking for alternative ways to actually get work, it's going to be a better process for us to go through. So many times, and I think I said this before, we put these blinders on and we think that this is the only way to get work. This is the only way to get work, whether you're doing email marketing, whether you're on one of the platforms, whether you're on a pay to play. Now, the funny thing is, everyone that ever got into voiceover, I would probably say 99.999% of us the first thing we did was go to voices.com, or we went to Voices 123, and we just thought, oh man, as soon as I put up my demo, I'm just going to start getting a ton of work. And we all got heartbroken because that didn't happen. I mean, I did this all the way back in like 2010, actually it was probably before that, but many of us have done that. We've tried to get work and get clients and different things of that nature to build our voiceover business. And we find out that this is a real job. This is a real thing. So many times I've said on a lot of the different broadcasts that I've done, your number one job as a voiceover is to get work, is to get a client. And if you don't have the skill set to get a client, you're not going to be in voiceover for long. It really boils down to that. Becoming an expert marketer is what is required. And here's the thing about marketing in today's world. Just like all of those folks that were complaining when places like Fiverr came out, and when more and more people start getting home studios and using USB microphones, all the people that had been in voiceover before were the ones complaining that they couldn't get as much work as they used to get, or they couldn't get paid as much as they used to get paid. It's because the barrier to entry to this career field is something that is so low, it's just ridiculous. So they had to start competing with folks like you and I. Now it's coming down to, because so many other places are getting saturated, or it will come to that. Let me say that if you don't have a very specific business that you're building your voiceover career around, if you don't have something that you can master, it's going to become more and more difficult because you want to be known for something. I've chosen my genres. I've chosen the things that I do, and that is where I exclusively focus. I don't try and be an also-ran and do everything that everyone does. I have a big, vast skill set that I could tap into, but I know that I don't want to water down my efforts on what it is that I'm doing. I just don't. So if you want to get some more information about what goes on at stepstovoiceoversuccess.com, there's the link in the description that you can click on. That'll take you right to the website. If you want to set up an appointment with me to talk, we can do that. And I can even get you some courses there. And you can see a list of courses that are there on the website as well at stepstovoiceoversuccess.com. I've thoroughly enjoyed this first live broadcast on Spreaker. Please leave me a comment. Let me know that you were here. And also feel free to let me know some things you'd like for me to talk about on this broadcast that I'm going to be doing. So, once again, thanks for tuning in. My name is Earl Hall. I'm your host right here for In the Booth with Earl Hall. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.